My name is Lee Holland. I'm the corporate vice president of FOP Lodge 35 in Montgomery County. I've been a police officer for 13 years, and my entire career has been spent here in Montgomery County. What made me want to become a police officer was, it's been in my family. My father was a police officer here in Montgomery County for 25 years. My brother is currently a law enforcement officer here in Montgomery County. He's been here for 18 years. And my mom actually worked for the sheriff's department as well, not as a sworn officer, but she worked in the administrative support staff. My whole family's in county government as well. My sister works here in the police department doing personnel stuff, and my uncle was here in the police department, so it's a long family tradition here. Protect and serve to me means I'm here to serve my community. I'm here to protect my community, and I'm here to make sure that everyone goes home safe, including myself and the community that I serve. Morale in the police force. Morale is at probably an all-time low here in Montgomery County. With the defunding the police movement, what's happened nationally, we have surveyed our membership, and most of our members, about 90%, say they feel negative about their job and the way that they're being treated. They come here to support people, but they don't feel that they're being truly supported, especially by our local politicians, and the morale here is again at an all-time low. Yeah, recruitment and retention problems are a problem here in Montgomery County. We just did a survey here recently. We have 300 people looking for a new job or looking to retire from this agency as of right now. We can't recruit. Recruiting is a tough problem here. We used to get over 1,000 applicants for a class. We're now getting roughly 400. Our last class was slated to have 22 officers in it, and we only got 14 to actually be accepted of the job and be able to go into the academy class. So no-knock warrants. We've been doing no-knock warrants, or have a SWAT team perform no-knock warrants for 40 years here in Montgomery County. They are highly trained. They practice this daily. That is their full-time job. It makes their job safer. It makes it safer for everyone of them performing search warrants the way that they need to perform the search warrants. Here in Montgomery County, we take it a step further than anyone else in the state, where we have a matrix of determining when a search warrant needs to be a no-knock warrant and when it doesn't. It's vetted through the chain of command. It has to meet certain criteria for it to be a no-knock warrant. If they take that away, officers are not going to be able to have the element of surprise or the quickness that they need to execute a warrant on somebody that is potentially armed and dangerous, which will either result in more shootings, which we've only had one fatal shooting in the 40-year history of our SWAT team during a search warrant. And it's going to make it more dangerous for them and for the person that they're serving the warrant on. Probable cause is a very high standard. Probable cause basically means that you know that that person did the crime. That's when you can arrest the person and take them to jail. Reasonable suspicion means I have a suspicion that that person committed a crime, but I need to build on more to determine that that person is the person that actually did it, so that way I can arrest them. Suspicion is obviously a lower standard than the probable cause standard. Where we have a problem with that is in the use of force that was passed by the county. It says that you can only stop somebody or detain somebody or use force against somebody that you have probable cause for. Well, we stop people all the time and detain them by minimum force, by grabbing them or making them sit down for reasonable suspicion, because we don't have the show up done yet. We don't have everything we need to establish the probable cause. So the number of search warrants. Last year in 2020, Montgomery County SWAT performed 75 search warrants. The year before was increased. It was 139 search warrants in 2019. So the legislation that's taken part locally here in Montgomery County, we have not had much of a voice or any consideration of where we want it to be here through our county council. Specifically the use of force, they carved us out of the use of force, saying that it cannot be bargained. There's a disciplinary bill that will remove us from discipline in the county, so they are definitely not interested in knowing what Lodge 35 wants to know about policing issues here in the county. At the state level, we are being pushed out there as well. We've had conversations, but the agenda is that they don't want police unions involved in the police disciplinary process or in police reform. Each one of our high schools here in the county has an SRO. We have 160,000 students. I think it's important to understand that last year, 163 students were arrested, and only 40 of those students were arrested by SROs, which means the SRO was probably off at the time the other students were arrested and probably could have resolved the situation a different way. They build relationships. They have positive relationships with the students. It's shown. I mean, they're needed. The pay for Montgomery County police officers is one of the lowest in the DMV. We have one of the lowest starting pays, and we top out at the lowest, one of the lowest in the DMV as well. We're lower than Baltimore City at starting pay, DC Police, Fairfax, and we're supposed to be one of the richest counties in, for sure, Maryland, if not the nation. So it's concerning that we have retention problems and recruiting problems, and it shows because they're not caring for them by not providing adequate wages that these people need. Meanwhile, our county council members themselves is one of the highest paid councils in the area. Only behind Washington, D.C., I believe, is what is the highest, but Montgomery County is right behind them. So we're not showing the same level playing field here. The bills that are currently in front of the legislator in the state, the way they're shaping up, the way that it looks like they may be passed, you're going to see a mass exodus of police officers in Montgomery County and more likely the state of Maryland. And unfortunately, we're not going to be able to hire qualified people to take their places. And people say they don't want to defund the police, but this is exactly where it's starting, is if you create bills that police officers cannot support or do not feel comfortable performing their jobs, you're going to lose police officers and not be able to recruit new ones. So crime in the county has dramatically increased, especially violent crime. We are double-digit homicides in 2021. We usually average 15 or 20 homicides a year, and we've already had, I believe it's 12 or 13. Carjackings in the DMV are on the rise, or skyrocketing. In fact, DC Police just created a task force. Here in Montgomery County, we disbanded our auto theft unit this year. But the carjackings are being committed at an all-time high here, pretty much on a daily basis, down county and Silver Spring. So we're seeing a rise in crime. Meanwhile, we're having a drop in officers, and officers calling here daily talking about getting new jobs and retiring.
This town